talk about, let's start with some positives. Okay, so a lot is going on with the team. A lot of new faces, a lot of new, obviously new defensive coordinator. So a lot could be different with this team. Where do you believe, Jesse, you will see the biggest improvements this season for the 49ers?
This one's tough because, I know, again, I'm the pessimistic one, right? But
Yes.
I really do see so many improvements across the board for this team. And I mean, let's just go through them real quick, and then I'll give my one that I'm the most excited about. But receiver, we don't necessarily know who the third guy is, right? But the fact that Hurd was a guy that early on we thought we were going to have to count on and hope that he could really come out and do something. Now, there's a chance he doesn't even make the team because receivers gotten so deep, right?
Right.
So you've got that. You've got the running back position where they've added so much depth. Even with Wilson out, it doesn't matter. They've added two great pieces that are both doing well in training camp. That position's gotten deeper. Obviously, offensive line's gotten a little bit deeper. Quarterback's gotten deeper. I mean, really across the board offensively, they've added pieces. And so there's a lot to be excited about. I would say the position that I'm most excited about or where we could see the biggest improvements would be that offensive line. And I know that there's some iffy things about Banks. Can he be? Can he not be? A lot of people are already worried. Did they mess up and take him way too early and he's not going to pan out? I think we need to pump the brakes on that. It's still very early on, but I think that offensive line can be very dominant this year in the run game. And especially because, I've been very bullish on Lance starting week 1. You add that to the run game and then just allow that offensive line to go downhill all season long. I think that's where you're going to see some major improvements. And a lot of that is because they're going to be playing to the strengths. Someone like Mike McGlinchey is great in the run game, not so much in the pass game. So that run game as a whole and that offensive line really is going to be the catalyst for it. That's where I think we're going to see some major improvements from 2020 to 2021.
Yeah, I mean, definitely the offensive line is a good one to pick. I think there's a couple of things that maybe that I think we're going to see some improvements. I mean, the defensive line, getting guys like Bosa and Dee Ford back. Dee Ford, somebody who we didn't expect to play a snap again for the team. To get something out of him is going to step up that defensive line already with the type of depth that they have, bringing in all of the players that they brought in this offseason. So I think we could see an upgrade there, even though the defensive line was already pretty decent the last few seasons. I also think the secondary, even though a lot of people are down on them, I imagine this 49ers defense is going to be a lot more aggressive and be able to turn the ball over a lot more than usual. They have corners right now that have, ball hawking skills, guys like Ferret, and then the rookies that they brought are all known to, hawk the ball a lot. And then Jimmy Ward has made it a point of emphasis to become more of a safety that intercepts the ball more. So I imagine he's going to be able to kind of play more free and, be able to read some routes and get a few more interceptions than normal. But I'm going to play off of what you said. And I think obviously with Alex Mack being there as the new all-pro center and a healthy George Kittle, I think we're going to see another top 3 running game. And we're going to see the biggest improvement there. And it's because the 49ers are going back to that 3-headed monster that they had so much success with in 2019 on their Super Bowl run. Having Trey Sermon play that 2019 Tevin Coleman role, obviously Mostert's there to play Mostert. And then, the other rookie coming out that they picked in the 6th round is Mitchell.
Mitchell.
Yeah, Mitchell. Him going to be playing that like Matt Breida type role, I think is going to do wonders, to be able to sustain that running game. Because, both of us really want Trey to start week 1. And we're going to get into that obviously later. But even if Jimmy Garoppolo ends up being the starter, that running game has to be the emphasis of the offense because it opens up everything else for the 49ers offense. And I think that's why the 49ers did what they did in the draft, drafting 2 offensive linemen, drafting 2 running backs, making sure to bring back Trent and then also sign Alex Mack. And, I think all of that is all geared towards kind of Shanahan tipping his hand towards this is going to be a run heavy offense. And obviously, you're seeing it with the type of packages Trey's doing, a lot of option type reads and things like that. So I think the running game is going to be the biggest improvement, and I think is gonna bode well if that is the case because that's pretty much how the rest of the offense runs off of that.
Yeah, absolutely. And we didn't talk a lot about the defensive side. I know that you touched on it a little bit, but I'm with you, man. I really think that schematically and the players that they have in place defensively, they're going to be very aggressive. I think you're going to see a lot of cover one. I think you're going to see a lot of blitzing. And I think that this defense is going to fare very well because of that. And I'm really excited to see what DeMeco Ryans brings. I know that Saleh is a big loss. I understand that, especially because he is a veteran now. He's been doing it for a few years. I remember when everybody wanted to run Saleh out of town.
Right.
And
that wasn't too long ago.
It wasn't too long ago. You're right. The last couple years, he's really schematically just stepped it up and hit a whole new level. And, I am a little bit curious to see if we can still dominate the Rams, if we can contain Russell Wilson and some of the things that he was able to do. But that said, I think the aggression that we're going to see from this defense is going to be a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, and the thing that I'm really liking about DeMeco Ryans and watching his interviews and, just him as a person, it doesn't seem like he's trying to be Saleh 2.0.
No.
It seems like he really has a vision for how he wants this defense to be. And obviously, it's going to be more aggressive. It's going to be more athletic. I think we see Fred Warner take another leap with, even though he made all his big money, I really think that DeMeco Ryans is going to unleash Fred Warner because DeMeco Ryans was Fred Warner. He played that middle linebacker position for some really good defenses in his time. And I think that we're going to see a different wrinkle of the defense. Now, I know, people fall in love with Saleh and he was a great defensive coordinator, but we didn't really see the beauty of just the defensive coordinator till all these injuries happened and he was forced to play more aggressive because he couldn't play the safe role that he used to. I think even if we had all the same team, DeMeco Ryans was going to play aggressive with the same talent. And that's what I really want to see. I really want to see a defense that is trying to get the ball, trying to get the quarterback down and give the ball back to the offense as quick as possible. And I think that's what DeMeco Ryans wants to do as well. So I think the defense is going to be extremely strong. I know people are, critiquing, there's not enough depth here, there's not enough depth there. But I think that overall the scheme is going to be stronger than the players that are there. And they've brought in the type of talent to be kind of like changeables, like be able to be kind of utility where they all can fit in certain type of roles so that we could always play the same scheme no matter who's healthy.
Yeah, for sure. And I remember even times during 2019, my buddy Adam, we text all the time during the game. He's my buddy that I'm always talking to during the game. I think everybody has one of those guys.
Yeah.
For me, it's my boy Adam, but we're just constantly going, can you blitz? Can you please blitz? Like, what are you doing just sitting back, letting these guys play in the pocket for 40 seconds and just pick us apart? Please blitz, Saleh. And that was even in 2019. It's like when you saw players like Ford go down, he's like, well, I'm not going to manufacture any extra pressure. We'll just see if these 4 can get home. And if not, we'll get picked apart. And it was super frustrating to watch. And I remember he's like, oh, we got to fire Saleh. I don't care. He's got to go. And I said, I think Saleh is going to be a very good head coach. I just saw that in him. But as a defensive coordinator schematically, I still think it fell apart for him at times. And you're right. The pieces that they've put into place, they are definitely interchangeable. And I'm very excited to see what happens. And I know Chewy, shout out to Chewy, good guy. Chewy, by the way, you make me look super optimistic, so I appreciate that. That's hey, for nothing else, man. That's your role, man. Make me look like I'm optimistic. I appreciate you. But he threw out some very good stats, and it's hard to argue. No defense under a first year defensive coordinator or second, I believe, in the last 10 years has finished in the top half of the NFL. And I think this year that trend definitely gets bucked because I really do believe that the aggression that we're going to see from this defense is going to give offenses fits, and I cannot wait for it.
Yeah, and I think when he said that stat, I wasn't well prepared to like rebut it, but I don't know. I'd have to look into the situations that this new coordinators are coming into because this is an intact defense that has been like this for at least 3 years, right? With the main key components still kind of there, as far as coaching staff and also players and whatnot. So this is, I think, a little bit of like a cheat code for DeMeco Ryans because he's coming into already kind of a well-built situation and just really needs to make tweaks versus an overall haul, where I think most defensive coordinators kind of have to do that because they're losing a lot of players in those kind of transitions as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And, it was a good stat he threw out, but I think there's a reason. I could be wrong, but I think there's a reason that he stopped at 2010 because I bet you there was probably a run from that 2005 to 2009 where that did not hold true at all, And so who knows? Either way, good stat. I would probably be caught off guard if you threw that my way also.
Yeah.